now, right now. Right 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 now, right now. Oh, I got a real good feeling.
We try to bring you high-quality educational and informational content every single day. Why do you think the price is having such an anemic time? The news story of the hour. Jump onto the chart. Is this the beginning of a massive financial unraveling? We got to add a little addendum to the show map today. So we start here on the daily. Now, we've been looking at the RSI on Bitcoin's daily chart for the last several days. It always has been, but it's been increasing over the last 50 years since the government has been bigger. Hey guys, what's going on? Jebb here, and welcome back to Coffee and Crypto Live. This is your week daily morning show where we bring you the latest in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency technical, on-chain, and fundamental analysis. Despite the internet trying to give us trouble, it is saying no data again. We are going to see if this continues to start to work. We're going to find out. I really hope that this all plays out, guys. I'm not really sure what's going on with the internet. I have changed literally absolutely nothing, so unless our ISP is running under some difficulties, I'm not sure what would be going on. It says no data, but now it says excellent connection. So I think we're going to go ahead and just run with it. If we have any connection issues, as always, I have my phone right here watching chat, and I can also see the chat right here on the computer. So if there's any technical difficulties with the connection, please let me know. As I said, normally I would be the first one to tell you if I thought this was user error, but I have done absolutely nothing different. Nothing has changed. Nobody's even been in this office besides me to move anything around. So nothing has changed on our side. I think something might be going on with the ISP. Nevertheless, doesn't matter. You're here for technical analysis, so let's go ahead and dive right on into it. But first, as always, we're going to start by reading some green names and going over those who were first. There are two people that were first today because there were two live streams. Queen was the first on this stream, so thank you very much for being first, Queen, with the heart. Actually, it was me because I said let's take it from the top, but Queen, you were the first commenter other than myself, so thank you so much. And also, special shout out to Sean O'Brien. He wanted to make sure he got his credit. He said, hey, Jebb, I was first on the last stream. That is true. I saw that. You were first on the last stream, Sean. Thank you so much, Sean. You'll have to tell us what it is like being a sheep. I'm sorry. That was a terrible joke. You probably get that a lot. Mike Lowry is in chat, said, good morning again, everybody. Hashtag FinSov. And by the way, I don't mean a sheep as in how people talk about that politically. I'm talking about the show Shaun the Sheep. I just want to make sure I wasn't offending anybody there accidentally. We've got Wisely and Alex Nybo and Grand Roofing Incorporated. Some very long-time fans. Tall Blonde Girl. We've got Tall Blonde Girl in chat. Hello. We've got Oh My said, good morning. We are back. Hashtag FinSov. And another thing is back, at least slightly, and that would be my voice. Now, you may hear me trying to catch my breath a little bit. Not catch my breath, but catch my throat up to speed a little bit today because, of course, I've been extremely sick, and I am still quite sick, but we are here. We have not missed a single Coffee and Crypto Live this entire week, even though I've been deathly ill, but of course, that did look a little bit different, and today I thought it was going to be just the same as it normally is, but seems like the internet had different plans. Daniel J. is in chat, said, so does this make this stream a double top? I don't know. I certainly hope not. CBD Suddy in chat said, Jebb, did you see my last chat? I did not. I was not able to see a lot of the chat in the last stream because I was trying to fix the internet. So you can tell me. So there is something I need to run by you private. Should I DM you on Twitter or by email? Either work. I would recommend that if it's something that you need to get straight to me, then go ahead and DM me on Twitter. Let's see. We got Grand Roofing Incorporated, so it's all good and working now. Yeah, I shut everything down, unplugged everything, replugged everything, restarted the computer, restarted the stream. So it's either a YouTube or an ISP issue. When People's in chat said, greetings and salutations to all. Now it is fine. Crypto Mini Bike said, good morning, everyone. Jojo said, good morning again. Yes, double good morning. Double good morning. We just had to really enjoy the intro because we haven't gotten to do it that much. Bedrock on the Wi-Fi. Yeah, that's probably what's going on. Somebody just dropped a 20,000-ton stone on the router. Crypto Jebb, I don't think we're going back to 20K. This is the last shakeout. Okay, well, that is a very, very interesting take and one that I will take seriously, but I'm not so sure I agree with. And that will lead us straight into our technical analysis. So let's start over here, as always, on CoinMarketCap. As you can see, Bitcoin is trading at $21,744. It is down 1.6% over the last 24 hours, but it is still up 30% year to date and up 27% in the last 90 days. That is something that we should be taking as a major encouragement. We also have Ethereum sitting at $1,539. It is down 1% in the last 24 hours, up 21% in 90 days, and up 28% year to date. It is still doing exceptionally well despite these recent corrections, especially the one that happened about a week ago. Binance is up 1/3%, and it is still up 18% year to date despite all of the hardships. But over the last 90 days, it is more or less traded sideways. That should give you a little bit of an idea of how large of a correction it took and also how much of a difficult time it has had rallying after there's been so much more skepticism brought into the market from the fall of FTX and the collapse thereof. XRP is down 1.15% over the last 24 hours, up 17% year to date, up 2% over the last 90 days. Of course, it is still being held down in a major way by the Securities and Exchange Commission lawsuit and everything surrounding that. Cardano sitting at 32 cents. We talked about how Cardano could potentially go down to a level right around there, and that's what it did. It's down 0.62% in the last day, down 9% in the last 7 days, but still managing to be up 28% year to date. Even though it's gone through a much larger correction, it's still up almost as much as Bitcoin and ETH because it had such a bullish beginning of the year. Now, you know we've been tracking BUSD's decline here on the channel. It has lost even more market capitalization over the last couple of days. Not so much over the last 2 days, but over the last week, we have seen $1.5 billion worth of market capitalization shed here from BUSD. And that's something that is frankly quite sad to see Binance USD just completely disintegrating in this manner. Paxos said that they would stop minting new BUSD, so naturally whenever somebody sells BUSD, then the BUSD that they had has to be burned for the sake of maintaining peg, because if they don't, then Binance being sold would actually cause it would cause a massive amount of inflation in the token, and you would depeg the entire cryptocurrency, which would undermine its ability to hold the $1 peg, and then you would end up seeing $8.5 billion effectively just disappear overnight. So that's what they're having to do because they're not willing to print anymore in light of new regulator scrutiny. So just looking at the overall health of the market, things are down quite significantly, and things are struggling a little bit, but this is not something that I would be worried about. I do think excuse me. As I've said, I do believe that this is a healthy correction that Bitcoin and crypto is going through. By the way, one more tip here on CoinMarketCap. You may have just seen it. I'm not exactly sure when it happened. I think it happened about 60 seconds ago. CoinMarketCap readjusted this and it changed my settings. Go here to customization. I go ahead and remove the 1 hour change, and then I add the 90 day and the year to date, and then you can just drag them right here so that you have your CoinMarketCap set up the way I do. And of course, if you are a denizen of the internet, then you probably are using dark mode because my eyes, I mean, goodness gracious, we've got to make sure that we have that turned off and have it here on dark mode so that we don't go completely blind. I mean, come on, we're denizens of the internet. We need it to not blind us, because I don't know about you, but I'm in a relatively dark room other than all the lights that are on me right now, and I don't want to lose my vision. All right, so let's go ahead and jump on over to CoinMarketCap because let's go ahead and jump on over to TradingView because naturally that's where much of our technical analysis is going to take place. Before we do, I am going to take a sip of water. Today's show is brought to you by water, for the sake of keeping my throat nice and ready to do the stream, because we're going for the full hour today. And in fact, we're going to go a little bit over the full hour because we had internet problems and you guys are getting a 1 hour show. All right. Now, the fact of the matter is, Bitcoin went through a major correction over the last 2 days. And in doing so, Bitcoin dropped all the way down to this level right here. This level is $21,532. That level, you might think, based on this chart, was drawn yesterday at 5 in the morning, based on that level of support. But it actually wasn't. That level was actually drawn by us on this stream from this level right over here. Let's just go ahead and show you. It was actually drawn based on a few different levels. It was actually drawn based off of this level right here. I believe that might actually be the level that I pegged this from. That might be the exact level I got it from. Yes, I think it was. So you can see I drew this level right here at 21,532, and that also perfectly lines up, almost perfectly lines up with all these lows that we set here in the first half of February. lines up almost perfectly with all the resistance levels that we set here in the middle part of January, and lines up almost identically with the local top that we set right before FTX went through its fateful collapse back on November the 8th, and we set that top right here around 21.5 on November the 4th. So that level of support has been in play at $21,532 and change. That level has been on our chart for weeks. And that's been the price prediction for a couple of weeks as well. And Bitcoin has now come down and corrected to that. We have a lot of people in this stream that are regulars, and many of you guys will remember me talking about how $21,500 was very likely in the cards if we fell below this uptrending level of support back around the 21st of February. That was 2 weeks ago. And then as we started to get closer and closer, it became more and more likely that that's exactly... that is exactly where Bitcoin was heading. And unfortunately for any of the bulls who were hoping otherwise, well, that's just not what was going to take place. You can see this bear flag right here that we talked about, and we talked about this extensively, guys, on the stream here. If you're new to the stream, by the way, I don't mean to just pat myself on the back, but just so that you know that you have a good place to learn technical analysis, we've been calling 21.5 for 2 weeks now. And a big part of the reason that we've been able to do that was because of this bull flag right here. This bull flag gave us a price target based on this movement to the downside into the bull flag of, you guessed it, $21,500, give or take a few dozen dollars. There's always going to be a slight bit of variance. Now, there was a hope and a prayer that Bitcoin would be able to hold above this uptrending level of support. I'll just go ahead and remove a few of these levels that are not so significant right now. There was a hope and a prayer that Bitcoin would be able to hold above this uptrending level of support, because that would mean that the head and shoulders pattern that Bitcoin could go through and form would be far less bearish, because if we extrapolated the price target from this ascending trend line, and it was a shorter price target because of the nature of it being an uptrend, then we would be able to see a price target of maybe $19,100. But at this point, since we fell all the way down to 21.5, then we not only have a longer price target line, but we also have to extrapolate from lower and potentially farther away, because it's going to take longer, and that could drive us all the way down to $18,200. The tricky thing here, and this is the thing that we really have to wrap our heads around, is that is Bitcoin going to have enough strength in the first place to go through the kind of bounce that we need to see for Bitcoin to actually form a head and shoulders pattern? Are we even going to see the exuberance in the first place for that to take place? Well, if you remember to yesterday's stream, in that stream, I outlined two major questions. First and foremost, would Bitcoin go to 21.5? I gave that a resounding yes, that's almost certainly going to be what takes place. So that's come to pass. The second thing we spoke on was whether or not Bitcoin would be able to go through a major bounce after we fall down to $21,500. That was something I wasn't quite as confident on. As far as I wasn't quite as confident in the bulls as I would like to be. And I simply can't be, because the bulls are not giving me bullish signals right now. Don't shoot the messenger, guys. I'm just telling you what the technical analysis is telling me. I'm just the analyst. Take it up with the charts if you don't like it. Right now, Bitcoin has shown zero, in the grand scheme of things. I mean, there's a small effort, but basically zero effort to go through a major bounce right here. Let's just go ahead and draw this at 21,532 so that it's consistent. This is the bounce that Bitcoin has managed after this drop. Let's just put the drop in perspective, okay? So the overall drop for Bitcoin here has been to the tune of $3,700 over 16 days. The smaller drop that took place ever since we broke below this uptrending level of support, which we also thought was probably going to take place, that was a drop of $711, give or take. It's actually about $800 over the span of a day and a half. Those are the kind of numbers we're talking about on the bearish side. On the bullish side, Bitcoin has managed to go through a rally of $296 over the course of 4 hours, and then established a shooting star formation right here, and we're establishing a second one this very hour. Now, since this is an hour-long live stream, then we get the great pleasure of watching the hourly candlestick from start to finish. This candlestick on the hourly chart, not too long ago, was sitting substantially higher. We were sitting at we were sitting at the beginning of this stream at $21,800, but you can see how that's transpired. The last 10 to 15 minutes have been very bearish for Bitcoin, and we've seen a massive shooting star formation on the hourly chart. The 5-minute chart, on the 5-minute chart, we're seeing a massive shooting star, and we're seeing 2 massive shooting stars forming on the 1-hour chart. Now, the thing you have to keep in mind about the 1-hour chart is that it is the area where you're going to find the pulse of what the market is doing on the daily time frame. As far as if you're trying to figure out what the market is going to do over the next 24 hours, chart you want to be looking at, generally speaking, is either the 30-minute or the 1-hour chart. I'd probably go with the 1-hour chart. So why does that matter? Well, the reason that matters is because you need to pay close attention to what the market is doing down on the daily chart. And to understand what's going on the daily chart, you have to understand what's going on the hourly chart. And the hourly chart, therefore, is kind of a canary in the coal mine for everything that takes place on all of the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency markets. So, with that in mind, let's take a close look at what it is doing. Down here on the hourly chart, Bitcoin is failing. Bitcoin is absolutely failing any hope of a rally. Now, there is a little bit of hope for a rally. I mean, we do have bullish MACD cross right here on hourly chart. We do have theoretically a little bit of bullish RSI divergence, just a little bit. You can see that the downtrend here on the bottoms for the candlesticks is a downtrend, as I said, and then there's a flat level of support, maybe just a little bit of an uptrend there. Maybe there's a little bit of bullish RSI divergence, but take a look at the hourly chart with Lux Algo. Oh, man, that's some really bearish movement. In fact, this chart right here reminds me a whole lot of another chart, and I'll show you. That chart that we're looking at looks an awful lot like this chart on the daily, where we see that Bitcoin went through this movement. Had the bear flag. We talked about how the bear flag here would likely end up leading Bitcoin to the downside. With the bear flag here, again, this is the daily chart. These are daily candlesticks, so we're looking at the pretty much all of 2022 right now. With the bear flag pointed us to the downside. We dropped down there. Bitcoin had virtually no bounce. That's kind of what it looks like Bitcoin is doing on the shorter term time frames. It's going to lock me into the same time frame, so it's a little bit difficult to show you. But if you were to overlay them, I hope you understand what I'm saying. They're basically the exact same markets right now. Bitcoin had a bull flag, went to the downside, actually overshot last time that bear flag price target, and it actually went even farther. Again, you can see that taking place right here. We fell even farther than we would have expected, and we went through basically nothing as far as a bounce is concerned. We rallied $7,000. That sounds like a big deal, but remember, we had dropped $50,000. So that's not really anything to write home about to tell your Aunt Sally that, hey, look, the bulls are in charge. They're doing very well. That's not something that you're going to have a lot of confidence in. And I think something very similar may happen here. As bearish as the scenario of a head and shoulders pattern is, if Bitcoin could break away from this uptrending level, from this level of support at 21.5, even just marginally, for a time, to go through building that right shoulder, that would at least show us that the bulls have some strength. There's not a lot of that strength right now. What Bitcoin seemingly may end up doing is, instead of building a massive right shoulder, it might just skip shoulder day, and it might just go up here to this uptrending level of resistance and reject, and then continue straight to the downside in what it just keeps defining as a larger and larger and larger falling wedge, just falling to the downside in this fit of depression. So at this point, as much as I would like to say that I think the head and shoulders pattern theory is likely, I actually don't agree with it anymore, because, as I told you, I needed to see what was going to happen with this bounce. I needed to see how this bounce is going to take place. Now, it is possible that we're going through a bottom like this, where we're just going to trade sideways right down here for the next 5 days until Tuesday, I think it is, when March 14th comes around and we see CPI data come out, and then CPI data is going to push us to the upside. That is very possible. That's actually what we saw happen last month. We saw CPI data come out on Valentine's Day. On Valentine's Day, we saw the CPI data come out. There was a little bit of a run-up from this zone between $21,500 and $22,500. We dropped 0.1%, so literally the smallest CPI drop that you can get. And Bitcoin then went on to rally $3,000 in a day and a half. That is possible. So let's keep that in our back pocket, as far as that's our bullish scenario. And when that CPI data drops, don't be in a short, whatever you do. This is not financial advice. This is just my opinion, but do not be in a short. Because if you are, then Bitcoin has already extended itself all the way to the downside. and you're seeing a bullish event come in, such as a CPI drop. Now, if we get to this point on Tuesday, March 14th, and let's just go ahead and put this at the exact time as well. This will be happening at 8:30 a.m. on Tuesday, March 14th. So we'll just go ahead and put it right there at 8. When we get to this point in time, I'll just go ahead and draw this one at the correct time as well at 8 a.m. When we get to this point in time, a couple things will take place. Either one, Bitcoin will see literally any kind of CPI drop, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, whatever, and Bitcoin will probably go through a small rally. Then the question becomes, do we rally up to this uptrending level of resistance, reject and fall to the downside? If so, then pretty much our only hope of short-term bullishness is eradicated, because the only reason that we went through this rally in the first place was because of a CPI print. Because if you'll remember back to this time, this is also when Gary Gensler was coming after the market. This is also when BUSD was being decommissioned from the cryptocurrency market because Paxos was taking it offline. And we were also seeing, if you'll remember to some of our comparisons here, we were seeing quite a few issues with the SPY, which I'll just go ahead and show right here, where the SPY was having a hard time and it was moving to the downside. And we were also having difficulty with the Dixie, where the Dixie was going through a major rally, which means that there was not really a whole lot of technical backing for this rally other than the hype of, oh my gosh, CPI went down, which that's not exactly something you should get excited about as a cryptocurrency investor, because high CPI, high inflation is one of the things that drive people to an uninflatable asset like Bitcoin in the first place. But nevertheless, keep that in mind. Positive CPI prints give people a lot of exuberance because they think, okay, well, I'm not going to have to spend so much money on eggs or bread or cars, so I can go ahead and spend it on Bitcoin. Nevertheless, that at this moment seems to be the only way out of a drop to $20,000. Why do I say that? Well, where are we going to find the exuberance and the enthusiasm necessary to go through a rally all the way up to that kind of level, as far as to $24,000, when we can't even break here? If we break above 22 and then we rally just instantly, I'm talking about it within 3 hours, to this uptrending level of resistance, then yes, potentially that could be the bulls drawing a line in the sand and saying, this fall, no father. They'll pull a Picard on us. But that seems a little bit unlikely. Similar to Picard beating the Borg. I was not watching Star Trek last night. That just came to mind. I'm not sure why. What seems to be more likely, without the director saying no, Starfleet wins, is Bitcoin dropping all the way down to $20,000 as a result of exceptional bearish pressure, and as a result of the S&P having trouble, and as a result of the Dixie rallying exceptionally, as a result of, as we talked about in last week's Saturday video, or Climate of Crypto video, as a result of the Federal Reserve shrinking their balance sheet, as a result of uncertainty around the war in Ukraine, as a result of the uncertainty around whether or not Xi Jinping is going to want to launch a war on Taiwan, and with the direct intention of involving the United States, because he's trying to break the plan, the People's Liberation Army and Navy, out of the first island chain that the United States has set up for containment over the last 70 years. All of those things are issues that people are very concerned about. And because they're very concerned about geopolitics right now, they're not very concerned about crypto. So there's not a lot of outside investment coming into Bitcoin unless Bitcoin does something like what it did in January, where it rallies $8,000 and everybody says, oh, wait a minute, I forgot I can get rich quick in Bitcoin. So then they go and put money in the crypto market. Without that kind of energy, without that kind of enthusiasm, Bitcoin struggles. So remember, my long-term prediction here is I do think that Bitcoin will be going into a general uptrend and be approaching $25,000, $30,000, $35,000 by the end of the summer. And potentially it could be as high as $40,000 to $55,000 by the end of the year. I will admit that is a very bullish target. And it is possible that Bitcoin doesn't quite get there, but that is, I like to have a little bit of optimism sprinkled in there with my predictions, because Bitcoin does have a way of surprising us when it does start to go through a major rally. That, as I've said multiple times, does not mean for a second, for a femtosecond, that Bitcoin is going to have a bullish March. While I think this year in general will be bullish, I think by the end of the year, you're going to see that year-to-date category over on CoinMarketCap up by at least 100%. I don't think that's going to happen right now. And the huge implications of geopolitics and macroeconomics on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency right now, because they are absolutely critical. None of them are particularly bullish for Bitcoin. Some of them you can kind of do a little bit of mental gymnastics, and they kind of are. But this weekend's Climate of Crypto video, so stay tuned for that because I'm going to be recording it after this stream. The issues having to do with the war in Ukraine, the housing market, all of these issues bring a huge amount of uncertainty and tumult to the cryptocurrency market and make things very difficult for Bitcoin. So when Bitcoin attempts to go through a bounce here and it breaks above, and if it breaks above 22K, if it doesn't break above this uptrending level of support and get back on the train of moving up and to the right with about a 15-degree inclination. Now, if you want to go ahead and measure that, you can get the trend angle right here. Set it sideways. Go ahead and angle it right here. It's about a 9-degree uptrend. It's not even that strong of an uptrend. If Bitcoin cannot get above, Bitcoin realizes at that point in time that the market realizes at that point in time, if Bitcoin can't even maintain, Bitcoin can't get with the program and get above and stay above that uptrend, then where in the world is Bitcoin going to find the bullish strength to not go to $20,000? Especially when we look on the daily chart at the VRVP is down here on the way to $20,000. Bitcoin could punch its way into this support, and it could find support here above 20K. And I think that it probably would stay above 20K. There is a very strong possibility that Bitcoin could drop down to 19 as a result of those price targets that we spoke on. But without the head and shoulders pattern and without that increased volatility, then not only do you lose out on the bullish volatility and the bullish exuberance, you also lose out on some of the bearish exuberance. So if you're not going to rally $4,000, a lot of times that also means that you might not have quite the enthusiasm to drop $4,000 as the head and shoulders theory would posit. Instead, you might just see this kind of slow, gradual decline like this, where Bitcoin just goes through a massive cup and handle formation or something akin to that. Maybe we see something take place like this and we wait for some kind of bullish or macro geopolitical economic factor to come into play and catalyze a reaction to the upside. Whatever that may be, at this point, with the way that this bounce is playing out, it seems to me to be that Bitcoin is undergoing a devolatility movement. What do I mean by that? Well, essentially, whenever Bitcoin hits a level of support or resistance and kind of doesn't do anything with it, then oftentimes Bitcoin is starting to lose its volatility. If you look at the Bollinger Bands, it kind of makes sense. On the Bollinger Bands, they are theoretically constricting. Now, they are moving to the downside now, but even if you look at something like the 4-hourly chart, they are undergoing an extreme constriction cycle right now. They're expanding a little bit, but not that much. I mean, Bitcoin is slowly moving to the downside, but not with a lot of enthusiasm, not with a lot of fervor, if you will. Bitcoin is losing a little bit of the zest that was attracting people to it in the first place, and then it kind of goes through this slow, gradual retirement out of the rally, and then it has to wait for another one to start. And that's honestly kind of the slow death of a rally, and that's not exactly what you want to see. If you're going to see a giant collapse, if you're going to see a rally end, a lot of that at least stops people from leaving the space because they're like, wow, I want to see what happens next. And so that's where you run into difficulties with that. By the way, guys, is everything good on the lagging front? Oh, goodness. Somebody said, oh, goodness, it's with the connection. Are we good? I think we're doing better than we were. Tell me if we are. I think there was a little bit of lag there for a second. Hopefully we're good now. All right. Let's go ahead and keep going. I will keep a closer eye on chat. Do apologize for that. Let's go ahead and look at some of the technical indicators, though, because, of course, one of the big things I want to look at is Lux Algo signal on the 3rd of March was confirmed as a downtrending level. Let's just go ahead and check. It says my connection's good. I think that was a little bit of lag from something I saw a little bit ago. Really sorry about that, guys. After this stream, I will call Nathan. He's the guy that's in charge of all the IT here in the building, and I'll ask him what's going on over there, and we might get a test done. All right. Let's see. But as I said, Bitcoin has been going through a major correction. Did have this confirmed sell signal. This signal was confirmed by Trendcatcher. Trendcatcher came into play on the 23rd of February. We did see the sell signal on the 3rd of March, and by doing that, Bitcoin confirmed that it was no longer in this massive uptrend, but it is now in a new downtrend. So, something to keep in mind is that if we do have a confirmed sell signal, it doesn't actually make a lot of sense that we would just hold at 21.5. It actually makes quite a bit of sense that we would undergo a larger correction from that, because let's just look at a clean chart here, at least a cleaner chart here. If we look at something like, let's look at the BLX chart. If we look at our sell signals here, and we draw a vertical line every time we have a confirmed sell signal on Bitcoin, then what we're going to see, and actually this sell signal literally is that line right there, so let's just keep that in mind. We have a confirmed sell signal here. I'm not going to draw that one because that one's kind of weeded out by other factors I won't get into. Same with this one. I'll go ahead and clear my chart as hard as it. 3 major confirmed sell signals on the daily chart for Bitcoin. And let's even look at the 4th one here. They've all of them have led through major corrective movements. Again, I weeded out a couple of them for reasons I'm not going to get into. I'm an expert in the Bitcoin chart at this point. I look at it every single day, so I know those sell signals. They're not sell signals that I'm particularly worried about because they were weeded out by other macro and geopolitical factors. But nevertheless, looking at them from a purely technical standpoint, this is the sell signal that we saw last. This is the last confirmed sell signal that Bitcoin saw on the daily chart. This sell signal led within 70 days to negative 57% corrections. This sell signal was the beginning of the bear market, called the beginning of the bear market long before most people were calling it. Most people thought that this was just a small correction. We dropped 48% in 70 days. This sell signal over here, we saw a drop of 52% in 65 days. This sell signal over here, we saw a drop of 25% in 15 days. So that's where we have to beg the question, if Bitcoin is going through a confirmed sell signal right now, is it only going to drop 12% in 15 days? Really? Especially when it makes more sense that Bitcoin will go ahead and break local support. That's kind of what happens when you go into a new downtrend, is you break local support and you move quite substantially to the downside. It is very possible from that point of view that we could drop to at least $20,000, which would be a 20% drop, or down even lower. So to answer the question, is Bitcoin heading to $20,000? At this point, I would give that a B level of confidence. I'd give that about a 70 to 80% likelihood. And unfortunately, that is just something that we're going to have to contend with. Now, remember, if Bitcoin is going through a correction, that is not something that we need to worry about. That's not something that we should get concerned about. That's something that we should actually, in a way, get excited about, because Bitcoin going through a major correction gives us the ability to buy in lower than we have been able to, because Bitcoin is at a lower price. So also remember, Butlux algo does have a great way of backtesting previous markets. During that bull market, which I believe is what we're in a way starting, we saw multiple sell signals. These sell signals, as you can see right here, a lot of times led Bitcoin through pretty major corrections. There were 4 or 5 major ones here in this market. We saw Bitcoin here go through a 27% correction in 9 days. This one went through a 23% correction in 8 days. This one led right into when I got into the space. We saw a 34% correction in 33 days. I got into the space right about here. And if you want the historicity, how long I've been in the cryptocurrency space, if you're new here, I'll just go ahead and show you real quick. Is when I got into the cryptocurrency space. That's like half the chart ago. So I've been here for a while. I'm a boomer when it comes to technical analysis on the Bitcoin chart. Nevertheless, all of those confirmed sell signals, if you just look at them here, they happen in bull markets. It's not the end of the world. In fact, I mean, if you look at the last bull market, there were tons of confirmed sell signals. I mean, one of them led into the pandemic drop. One of them led through this drop right here. I mean, they happen quite a bit. One happened up here. I didn't even talk about this one, but this was a smaller one. This one dropped us 21% in a week. This one was confirmed a little bit late. This was right after El Salvador adopted Bitcoin. We saw Bitcoin drop 16% in 3 days. They're not the end of the world, but they typically are a little bit bigger than what we've seen so far. And typically when you see a confirmed sell signal such as this, even though they don't necessarily mean that it's the end of the bull market, they do typically mean that you're going to at least fall down to very strongly down to previous support, if not break it. So I think that there is a strong case to be made that Bitcoin is probably going to break below the level of support at $21,500, move down to $20,000. And from that point in time, we will see how Bitcoin bounces from there. Again, I would love to hear your opinions on, let's see. Someone said no sound. Golly, what is going on? Whenever Bitcoin goes down to $20,000, that is not something that I would give too much concern to. All right, let's go ahead and read some chat. A lot of people are saying a lot of trouble with the stream. I'm not really sure what's going on, guys. I do apologize. Like I said, I will call up the person here in the building who is in trouble, not in trouble, who is in charge. Sorry, who is in charge of all of that. Some people are saying no sound. Everything. Let's see. Stream is choppy on my end. Really sorry to hear that, guys. I'm not sure what's going on. All right. Well, let's go ahead and read chat. And if it's still choppy, tell me. TechoCC says no sound, no screen. I think that that's good. As far as just make sure you're zoomed forward. Let me know if anybody else is having that trouble. Stream choppy, but sound good. Just small chop. Okay. All right, well, let's go ahead and read some chat. Really appreciate all of you guys tuning in. Louis Pereira said lagging a lot, but sound good. Tell me if that's how I pronounce that. Marcelo said perfect here. Thank you, Marcelo. Sounds like somebody's getting good connection. Stefan Schultes says everything's fine. I'm watching in a parking lot of my work. It's fine. Okay. Lagged once was all I seen. All right, sounds good. Well, we're clearly having a little bit of technical difficulties here. Someone said, "Who's the cowboy?" And then Alec Louisiana said, "Jebb is the cowboy." Was Machin Sachin? Was Machin Sachin? I don't know what that means. Somebody heard Sarah sneeze, so Queen said, "Bless you, Sarah." Let's see. Rock and Metal News said, "Hey Jebb." Hello, Rock and Metal News. How are you doing? All right. Where can we activate the clouds on LuxAlgo? Great question. Let's go ahead and look at that. So in LuxAlgo, for any of you guys who are subscribers to LuxAlgo, and by the way, if you are not, you are missing out. LuxAlgo is incredible. You can use coupon code JEBB20, J-E-B-B, I'm sorry, Jebb, it's just Jebb, J-E-B-B, at checkout, and you get 20% off for LuxAlgo, so make sure to check that out. But to activate the clouds on LuxAlgo that I use every single day in my technical analysis, you come right here to your indicators. Make sure you have LuxAlgo on. Go to your settings, if they will load. Having all kinds of technical difficulties today, aren't we, everybody? Goodness, this isn't LuxAlgo. This is TradingView. Well. Huh. Everything just wants to break on us today, guys. I can't even open up my settings. All right, let me close out LuxAlgo and bring it back up. Go to our indicators here. LuxAlgo Premium. Here we go. Come right here. And it won't let me open it. Yeah, all right. So, looks like TradingView is giving me trouble too. I'll just go ahead and refresh TradingView and see if that fixes the problem. That did fix the problem. Okay, here we go. So, LuxAlgo Premium, boom, come down here, turn on reversal zones. Those are those zones that you're going to see on top and on bottom of the charts. Look at the trend catcher. That is going to be this line right here. That's very important. Look at the EQ cloud. You can see the EQ cloud is going to show up right there. And then also the dashboard right down here, you can show up there. And then, of course, if you want the signals, what I do is I set signal sensitivity to 12. Then I set confirmation signals agility to 26. And that typically gives me the signals that I am looking for and helps me to read the chart as well as I possibly can. So great question there. Thank you so much for that. And there you go. All right. God-fearing cowboy. Thank you. Hope all is well as Sarah and the baby. Off to work. See you later. See you tomorrow. Good to see you, Wisely T. Thank you so much. I got a cold. Yes, I've been very sick all week, and I'm starting to recover from it, but it's been a little bit difficult. But I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited to be here on stream again. Hey, pronounced good. Stefan Schultes. Did I get that right? I hope I did. I like pronouncing names correctly. Sound good. Pay better upload and all good for next time. You know what? I don't think I'm going to run it on stream because that might cause trouble. I literally have over 500 megabits per second up and down. I'm supposed to have 1 gig up and down, but I have the best internet that money can buy, actually. So it's not a matter of that. This is literally the best internet service provider in the entire county. And we have gig speeds here. Now, they are having a little bit of trouble getting it all the way out here to me this far in the building, but we're still getting half a gig speeds up and down, so I could stream in 8K right now if I wanted to at 240 frames a second, and so long as the hardware could keep up, the internet wouldn't be the bottleneck. All right. Enjoy your streams and the detailed content. I've been praying for you and your family. Thank you so much, MT. I really do appreciate that. Guys, we're going to go into a period here of kind of questions and answers, and you guys can guide me. You can tell me, hey, Jebb, I want to look at Cardano on the 4-hourly chart. Hey, Jebb, I want to look at Ethereum on the daily chart. Hey, Jebb, I want to talk about this news article. So you guys tell me what direction you guys would like, and we can see what we can do about that. They could be having a backhaul issue. Performing a tracer would explain what is happening. Okay, well, I need to go learn a new language, and then I will figure out how to tell that to Nathan, who is in charge of IT, or I could just show him the stream chat. Haven't watched in a while. By far my favorite crypto channel. Thank you so much, Andrew Rowland. By the way, I forgot. I have a very special announcement. Everybody who has been having trouble with CT2A, I just fixed all your problems. I just fixed all of it with one simple change in web design. Literally every single one of you that's having trouble with CT2A, getting into CT2A, should be completely solved now. I will show you. Give me 1 second. You're going to want to go to bitcoinacademy.teachable.com. That is the front page of all things Club DeFi. Bitcoin Academy is kind of the behind-the-scenes name where we are on Teachable. Eventually, we'd like to get this URL updated at clubdefi.com so you can navigate to it. But for now, if you go to that website, this is the front page of Club DeFi. So if you just go to, Safari or whatever, and you type in Club DeFi, and you scroll down right here, you're going to see this is where it's going to take you. You just type in Club DeFi, boom, that's the page it's going to take you to. This is the front page of all of our course architecture. Scroll down. CT2A. If you click on it, then you'll see the curriculum, and you'll see enroll for $8.99. I can't get this button to go away, but don't worry. If you click on this, it's going to say, sorry, this course is closed for enrollment because CT2A is closed for enrollment. It is not for purchase anymore, but it is here for any of you guys that are in CT2A. All you got to do, come up here, log in. Make sure you go to the front page of Club DeFi, bitcoinacademy.teachable.com. That's very simple to find because you can also find it by just going over here to the cryptojebb.com website and finding principles of technical analysis. Then boom, hit that logo. That'll take you to the front page. CT2A is right there, perfectly accessible, should fix all your problems. Just go log in with your Teachable login. All of you guys who are saying that you have to buy it again, you don't have to buy it again. And it shouldn't even tell you that you have to anymore. Because I think what was happening before is you were finding this page where I was saying enroll for $8.99, but you didn't actually have the login. That looks like it was a web design error on our part. Of course, we had to kind of put everything back together when we went into launch, so I do apologize for that. But for any of you guys that did have CT2A, this should fix all of your problems. Feel free to tell me if it does or it does not. I would love if some of you guys would go and try it even right now to see if it fixes your problem and tell me live so that you guys can get into CT2A. And of course, Principles of Technical Analysis, which is our current active course and which is receiving updates over the next few months, is right there as well. And so many of you guys have been joining Principles of Technical Analysis. Thank you guys so very much. Shadrach Frost said, I love my CT2A. Boom. Very glad that you do, Shadrach Frost. Shadrach said, we'll test it right now. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. I'm hoping that'll fix all the problems because we've been going through and helping just dozens of you guys manually to get into with all the different links and everything. I think that has actually fixed it permanently, so that's not going to be an issue anymore. Please tell me if that does. How likely is $18,500? Queen said. I think there's a high likelihood that could happen. As far as I could see that being a 50% likelihood to take place. We're gonna have to see how Bitcoin holds at $20,000. Kind of like how we said we have to see how Bitcoin holds on that uptrend. Didn't hold very well, so it collapsed. Then we saw, okay, well, we had to see, are we gonna hold at $21,500? If not, then we're probably gonna collapse. Then we have to see if we're gonna hold at $20,000. So that's the next major level. So how we do there is going to dictate whether we go to 18.5. But at this point, I think it's very likely that we do at least go to 20. When people said I just got into CT2A without a hitch, boom! I'm so excited about that. That's so excited about that. You should make your quick fix a YouTube short for those who missed this stream. It actually already is a short, just so you know, Daniel J. You guys can go check and see if you see it, but I did make that a short yesterday. Let's see. Log me right in. No issues, and I have access to all the courses I already completed once. Boom. Perfect. Queen said, yes, sir. I don't know if that's about CT2A or about me answering your question, but yes, sir, indeed. Jebb's L2 on... I'm not sure what you mean. L2's on watch. Oh, layer 2's on watch. Probably Chainlink and Polygon. Those would be two of my favorites. I'm not a big L2 guy. I mainly look at the kind of the macro of the overall climate of the space. That's what I mainly focus on, and just investing in a few different cryptos. So I'm not the biggest altcoin guy in the world, but I can do the technical analysis on them just as well as I can with Bitcoin. It hasn't chopped in a few. Maybe the ISP peeps woke up and cleaned the coffee off the keyboard. Yeah, coffee sounds pretty good right now. I think I might get some coffee here in a little bit to celebrate not being sick anymore. I do really like coffee, but if you guys don't know, despite this being coffee and crypto, I actually stopped coffee about 3 months ago, and it was one of the best decisions I ever made because it's so much easier to get up out of bed. I don't have to it's not like oh wow, I have to add that to my routine every day. It makes things a lot easier. I still love coffee. I'm not against coffee. I will drink coffee as a treat, or if I'm really, really exhausted. But I am very excited that my body doesn't need it anymore. I'm very, very happy about that. All right, let's see. Because drinking it every single day, even though I only had 1 cup a day, was definitely, or sometimes I had 2 or 3, but normally I only had 1 cup a day, was making it a little bit difficult for me to get up out of bed in the morning. I've had a hard time with that for a long time, and I've finally realized it was the coffee, because my body woke up and I'm like, wow, I'm so tired. I'm exhausted. I can't get out of bed because I hadn't had my caffeine fix yet. But now I just have a lot of natural energy anyway, so much so that my son will literally run in circles around the house for 12 hours a day, and I can still keep up with him. So I have plenty of energy. I'm very sick right now, and I hope you guys can see the amount of energy I have. So I don't need the coffee, so I'm pretty excited in that front. Now, one of the things I also want to share with you guys is that Club DeFi is doing very well, and you guys are really enjoying Club DeFi. I'm really, really enjoying doing office hours with you guys. I'm also really enjoying the idea of I want to get into the Discord over there and really start interacting with you guys a lot more. Somebody was saying Crypto Jebb Discord. I actually do have a Discord server, and you can get access to it by joining Club DeFi. That's not really a big selling point. I want the course to be able to stand on its own, but that is something that comes with it, is the Discord server over there. So whenever you guys do join Club DeFi, because I know a lot of you guys are going to, then make sure that you go ahead and join the Discord server as well, and join us for office hours, 8:30 p.m. Eastern every single Monday. 8:30 p.m. We get in there for about 30 to 45 minutes. We'll go the full 45 minutes if there's plenty of questions. But there's normally a lot of you guys in there. We have a lot of great time. So for any of you guys who are interested in Club DeFi, those are a couple of the perks that you're going to get. And you guys can feel free to ask me any of the frequently asked questions about Club DeFi. But short and simple, here's the deal, guys. Club DeFi is the place where I have gone to teach you as much as I possibly can about technical analysis. And there's going to be even more content in here over the next few months. I'm really, really excited about this product because it has learned from all of the different things that we did in CT2A. This product over here that we talked about, CT2A, over 5,000 students went through CT2A in the 4 years that it was active, and everything we learned from it, we have now put into Club DeFi. This is the next generation of CT2A that helped nearly over half of the way to 10,000 students learn how to do technical analysis. We helped so many people in technical analysis in the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy that I would get emails almost every single day from students that were talking about how life-changing it was to be in the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. And when they did finally manage to get into CT2A and they went through it and they learned that content and they were able to go forward and apply what they learned in the real world, it made a real big difference. And we got so many emails. I mean, I saw emails from people that were saying that they managed to help get themselves and their little sister out of poverty because they had no parents. I mean, they were on the streets. I think they were staying with their aunt. This was several years ago. I cried at that. I remember there was one story where somebody, he was, I forget the exact story, but he was, I think he was going through a divorce, and he used it to help generate revenue. Guys, there were so many different people that sent us so many different emails about CT2A. And they still do, actually. You guys still tell me how much you love it. And Club DeFi's Principles of Technical Analysis is the next generation of that. And I do think it's even better. And it's where I'm currently actually doing the work. Now, a lot of my effort right now is going into getting these Saturday videos really polished. I think you guys really enjoyed that video last week. But especially after the baby gets here and I'm able to really kind of focus and just hammer down on content, I'm going to be putting a lot of content into Club DeFi's Principles of Technical Analysis. There's a few videos I want to update, but after that, there are still more videos that I want to put into it. So expect over the rest of this year, really, we're going to put a lot of content into Club DeFi. I would love to see Club DeFi's Principles of Technical Analysis one day hit over 75 videos. It's at 62 right now. So there is still some more content coming to the course, but the course right now, in my honest opinion, is probably worth $1,000 for how much it can do for you, because to learn technical analysis is the gate and key to being successful in the cryptocurrency market. If you understand how to read the technicals, let me put it like this. Let me put it like this. I talked about this on office hours last week. Here's why technical analysis is so important. We had a great question in office hours. Again, you can get access to that through Principles of Technical Analysis. We had a great question from Bob in office hours. His name's Robert. He goes by Bob. I think it was Bob. Might have been Brian. Shout out to you guys. I think both of you might be watching right now. I think it was Bob, though. Asked, how does, since I'm not actively trading as far as I don't day trade. I don't make 100 trades a day anymore like at one point I may have done. I'm more of an investor at this point. How does technical analysis play in to the market? And what I told him in short, now there's the recording of the full answer, and maybe I could show you that. But essentially what I told him is this. You have all these different variables, all these different factors that are impacting Bitcoin, but you read how they impact Bitcoin through technical analysis. Technical analysis is how you communicate with the market. What I told him is I gave him an analogy like this. Think about if you're trying to understand another human being, whether it be a spouse, whether it be your child, whether it be your friend, your employee, your employer, whoever it may be, you can look at their life and you can say, and we're going to go about 5 or 10 minutes over because of course we started a little bit late. You can look at their life and you can say, okay, they were raised rich, or okay, they were raised poor. So because they were raised poor, they probably have insecurity, or because they were raised poor, they're probably kind of gritty, or because they were raised rich, they're probably kind of pretentious, or not that those things are true, by the way, but people make these character judgments. Oh, because they had this horrible thing happen to them, they probably struggle with this area of their identity. Because they had this great accomplishment in high school, maybe they just kicked this like 70-yard field goal, maybe they're just really confident. We can look at what happened to people in their lives, and we can make assumptions about how those things will impact that individual. But you won't actually know how those things impacted that individual unless you have communication with them. Because a relationship rides on the rails of communication. That's one of the biggest things I've learned from marriage, is that without communication, there's not a relationship. Same thing with the Lord. If you're going to have a relationship with the Lord, you got to talk to him. He's talking to you through the word. You got to talk to him. There's communication. To have communication and a relationship with Bitcoin, you have to have communication. So you can talk to crypto, by the way. You can impact crypto by trading. Every time you make a trade or an investment, you are moving the market. But when you move the market, the way that the market is talking to you is through the price. So you trading and investing is you communicating with the market. The market then moving in response to you and a multitude of other traders is the response, and that's the communication. The communication between you and Bitcoin is you trading and its price changing. That's where you have that relationship with crypto. Now, with crypto, we can sit here and say, the SEC said that they're going to make everything but Bitcoin a security, and that's going to cause Bitcoin to go to the downside. We can make that assumption. We can say that the war in Ukraine is having this impact on Bitcoin, and because of X, Y, and Z equals A, B, and C, then we can make this assumption, and a lot of times those may be accurate. But unless you look at the technical analysis itself, it is just an assumption. Because we can assume all day that, some celebrity getting a new girlfriend is going to impact Bitcoin. But if we look at the chart and nothing happened, then what that market is telling us is the same thing in this scenario. Let me paint it like this. Something crazy, something terrible happened to someone when they were a kid. And we could sit here and assume that, oh, that must mean that they're very depressive. But then you go and talk to them and you see, wait a minute, they're not very depressed. That's in the past. They've healed from that. They're good. The Lord Jesus has come and healed them, or they've moved, they've grown, they've learned. It doesn't bother them anymore. You could assume that this thing that happened to them is still affecting them, or that it affected them in a certain way, but you won't know unless you go and ask them. With Bitcoin and crypto, you are assuming that geopolitics, that macro, that the war in Ukraine, that the Federal Reserve, that all those things are impacting Bitcoin. You are assuming it until you look at the price. Technical analysis is the reading of the price. The fundamentals, the on-chain, the macro, the geopolitics, all of it funnels straight through the price, and you read the price with technical analysis. You will not have a proper relationship with Bitcoin, and this is a bold statement, but after 6 years of doing this, I'm very confident in it. You will not have a proper relationship with Bitcoin until you understand how to listen to it. No relationship works without understanding and listening. And the way that you listen to Bitcoin is by reading its technical analysis. Okay? So if you can't read the technical analysis of Bitcoin and crypto, I don't think that you can have a proper relationship with Bitcoin and crypto. And I don't think you are going to have much of a chance of really understanding the way that the world impacts it. Because yes, there's a lot of things that impact Bitcoin, but you can't understand the way that it impacts that market unless you go to the source and ask it. And how do you do that? By reading the price through your understanding of technical analysis. That's why whether you're an investor or a trader, and that's what I told Bob in office hours on Monday, and he responded with, you should do a TED Talk sometime. I'm not kidding. That's what he said. I was like, I would love to do a TED Talk sometime. But you're not going to understand the way Bitcoin works or any market works without technical analysis. Fundamental analysis isn't enough. On-chain geopolitics isn't enough. That's why I talk about all these things, but it's always centered around the TA. Because I firmly believe that you will not understand the price of the market unless you go and ask about the price, what is going to happen and what has happened and what is happening. And that's the art of technical analysis. If you think I'm wrong, feel free to go read any book on Dow theory. Dow theory was where the genesis of the idea of stock trading came from and technical analysis came from. And it was written and understood and first formulated over 100 years ago. And in Dow theory, one of the main tenets of Dow theory is that the averages discount everything. What does that mean? Well, if something is going to have an impact on the price, then you will see it impacting the price. It's kind of a tautological answer, but many of our philosophical foundations act that way. Everything that will impact the price, if it impacts the price, you will see it show up in the price. So you can read the news all you want, but you could also just not read the news and look at the technicals. It's basically what it's saying. Because even if you miss the news, the price won't. Because if the news actually matters, then people are going to trade by it, manipulate the market, move the price, and then by you reading the price, you discount everything. You don't have to go look at 100,000 things, although it is good to look at those things. You can look at straight at the price. If you're going to look at one piece of analysis, it should not be geopolitics. It should not be the macro environment. It should not be the news. It should not be CoinMarketCap. It should not be Binance. Anything. If you're going to look at one type of analysis, it should be technical analysis, and everything else has to be founded on that. That's why this has always been a technical analysis channel, not a fundamental analysis channel, and that has always been something that I add on top of the technical analysis. Because to understand the market, you first have to have communication with it, and to have communication with Bitcoin or any market, you have to look at the price and see how it's operating. And you have to be a good listener. And the way you be a good listener is by learning technical analysis. That's where Club DeFi's principles of technical analysis comes in. And I'll be honest, I think that it is the best product in the entire space, the best course, the best academy in the entire cryptocurrency market to learn technical analysis. And I hope you agree with me that it is the most important way of analyzing the market. Yes, the news is important, but if the news doesn't impact the Bitcoin market price-wise, then what does that matter to you as an investor? Right? It doesn't. Unless you're caught up in the news, that news means nothing if it doesn't impact the price of the asset that you're investing in. You need to start with the technical analysis. I think I made my case very clear. You guys tell me if you disagree. All right, let's go ahead and read some chat. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. Jebb, young enough to be my son, but very smart guy. Thank you, Lazarus Hands. That is absolutely a gift from the Lord. Thank you very much to him. Charles H. TED Talks convinced me to pile into space. Yes, Charles Hoskinson has some very wonderful TED Talks dating back to 2013, 2014. He's got some really good ones back there talking about the necessity of identification. Go check out some of those TED Talks that Charles Hoskinson did. And also check out the interview I did with him here on the channel. It was wonderful to get to sit down with Charles. Show me the charts and I'll tell you the news, the Fun Family said. Exactly right. So if you guys want to learn the news, then you can, and you don't know where to look, start by looking at the charts. Lazarus Hands said, miss you on Around the Blockchain. Guys, go bug them. I've emailed them a couple times. They haven't gotten back to me. I don't get it. I would love to be on Around the Blockchain. I'm not exactly sure when I'd be able to be, but I'd love to try and schedule something. Estimating 1, discovering 3 said, this is gold. I'm not sure what you mean this is gold. I hope you meant what I was talking about with the way that technical analysis lines up. I'd love to make a video about that. That might be a Sunday video waiting to happen. Bart said, thanks for the charts, bro. This is premium content for free. Thank you so much. That's what I want. I want to give you guys a huge amount of free content here and then show you that, hey, just for a little bit more, getting principles of technical analysis, you can learn how it's all done. Because I want you guys to be able to do what I do. Because what I do, I'll be honest, it did take a lot of work and I've learned a lot. But you can do it too. There's nothing special about me. You know, I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy who started looking at technical analysis 6 years ago, and now I've learned it. And now I feel that I'm pretty good at it. And I know that you can too. And it's changed my life, and I believe it can change yours. And I want you to be on that journey with me. And I know you can, so long as you get past some of those limiting beliefs of, oh, I can't, or, oh, it's not for me, or, you know, oh, I could never, or, oh, I mean, like, maybe one of you guys is thinking that, like, oh, Jebb's smarter than me. I'm not that smart of a guy. I mean, I'm just a person. You know, you guys are very intelligent and you guys can do this. You just got to invest in your education. All right. Let's see. Somebody said down she goes. What do you mean, Bitcoin? Yeah, that would not be surprising. Yeah, it's having a hard time right now. For sure. All right, guys. Al's Pawn said, hi from Scotland, just subbed. Well, thank you. Welcome to the channel. All right, guys. Well, I am going to have to go ahead and wrap it out. I really do appreciate all of you guys tuning in. If you enjoyed today's stream, do me a couple of favors. First and foremost, hit that like button. Let's see if we can get to 300 likes before we wrap it out. Make sure to sign up for Club DeFi's Principles of Technical Analysis. Again, if you were in CT2A, you have a discount waiting for you. That discount will give you 25% off for Principles of Technical Analysis. You can shoot us an email, support@cryptojebb.com. We will get you that email and that coupon code, and you can go ahead and sign up for Club DeFi's Principles of Technical Analysis for 25% off, which equates to $100 off, which would make the product, the course, $299 instead of $399. Then, if you were in Club DeFi's beta, and a lot of you guys were, however much money you put into the beta, you can then go ahead and put into Club DeFi's Principles of Technical Analysis as a discount. We've had a lot of you guys do that. So one person even had $175 they put into the beta because they had 7 months of $25 a month payments. They got a $175 coupon code for Club DeFi's Principles of Technical Analysis, which I think would have made it $224. So pretty big discounts waiting for you guys if you join Club DeFi's Principles of Technical Analysis and you were in one of those camps. If not, stick around. There might be a sale in the future. We're not going to be doing flash sales every month like we did with CT2A because the course is worth at least $399. I don't want to devalue it. It's worth a lot more than that, actually. It's a very premium product. But if you were in CT2A or if you were in Club DeFi's beta, then you can get access to Principles of Technical Analysis for those discounts because I think you've earned them. So shoot us an email, support@cryptojebb.com, and we would be more than happy to get you in for a little bit of a discount. All right. Thanks, Jebb. Catch you tomorrow. Louis Pereira said, thank you. Thank you so much. Lazarus Hand said, like smashed. Techo CC said, Jebb, you are the best. Thank you so much. WV Willis 4 said, I sent some comments to ATB2. Maybe they scheduled way ahead of time outside the regulars. Perhaps. That might be. Al's Pawn said, many thanks, Colin. Nice to be here. Yes, thank you to Colin McDonald. I don't see him in... Oh, there he is. Yep. All right, guys. Well, thank you so very much for tuning in, and be on the lookout because unless something crazy happens, and I don't think it will, we will be having another Saturday video coming out because I'm about to record it right now, and I'm really, really excited about what we're going to talk about. So stay tuned for that because it's going to be awesome. But I've got to go. Before I do, though, I just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling.